What's up, guys? Haven't shot a video in this style in a long time, but I wanted to take a couple of minutes to bring you a real quick review of some of these Tyrant CNC products I put on this Springfield Hellcat. They did send these to me, but man, I took them out to the range, beat them up, and we had a good time, and I'm going to give you guys my honest feedback on it. Now, these are some nice upgrades, honestly. I was really surprised by this trigger. It's real crisp, and it's got a nice 90-degree break on it. Short reset. The angle's real nice. And this trigger blade, it looks a little fat, but honestly, it's real smooth. Gets out of the way real clean, and you don't feel it really under dry fire or live fire, especially under live fire. It just gets out of your way. But it's a real nice function to that trigger. One thing though, I do recommend if you are going to put the trigger in here, take it to a gunsmith, unless you are really familiar and real confident in your skills to taking apart stuff, because there's a lot of small pins and springs in here that you could lose or misplace super easy. And this isn't a Glock. It's kind of a real pain to replace that stuff. So take it to a gunsmith if you're not confident on it. But once you get that in there, I really think you're going to like it. I think it's a definite upgrade from the original Hellcat trigger. Also got the takedown lever here. Now, it doesn't add much functionality, a little bit easier to get a hold of, but that's simple to put in. So if you wanted to add that just for looks or style, and they do have a new slide release. I don't have one on here, but they do have one that just came out for the Hellcat and Hellcat Pro. Now, any of these parts will fit in the Hellcat Pro as well. And so if you have the Hellcat Pro, or you have the small one, or you have the small one you want to upgrade later, I think you're going to be solid, easily transferable. Now, we do have this magazine extension in here, adds a couple of rounds to it, and it's a little bit wider than the frame. But if you have big hands, that's probably going to feel good because it's going to take up some of that extra space. Now, I didn't have any problems with these magazine extensions, and these actually go in really easily. You see they have this little plunger down here. So you just push that plunger in, slide your magazine on, uses the factory springs, so you don't have to worry about adding a new spring or picking up a new spring. Same factory follower, factory sleeve, obviously. But goes on. Installation requires no tools. Super easy, super simple. And it's easy to switch between magazines, too, if you want to take it off. Just push that down, slide it off real fast. Now, I did have a magazine extension on here. I told you I'm going to be honest with you about things. So let me grab that, pull it in here. So I did have this in here, and I want to explain kind of what happened before I explain my theory on what happened. So this is an extended magazine release. Now, up until you see it kind of sheared off right here, it worked great. I think the only issue I had with it is the way that I hold on to my pistols when I'm shooting is I have this really high aggressive grip, and I squeeze real tight. And it's a problem with these small guns in general, I think, because you don't have much real estate. Now, on something like the Hellcat Pro, I don't think you're going to have this problem. But what happened was, as I'm squeezing it under recoil, it would come back and it would rub. My palm would rub that magazine release, right? I had a couple of times where it'd pop out under live fire, but it wasn't a really big problem. Didn't happen a lot, but it did happen. Now, I'm more used to shooting full-size firearms, not something this small, so it could just be how I was holding the firearm that caused that to happen too. But it did happen, so I wanted to tell you about it. But outside of that, I think what happened with this here, see, it sheared off right there. It's supposed to be square, see? And it sheared off a little bit. And I think what happened was, when my grip was riding that magazine release, I think it might have been pushing it over to the other side just a little bit, right? Maybe just a little like that, right? It doesn't take much for it to come out. Even with the factory magazine release, it doesn't take much for it to come out. But I think maybe it was pushing it over, causing that magazine catch on the inside, that slot, to put extra pressure right on the edge. And I think that might have been what caused it to shear off. I'm going to send this back to Tyrant so they can take a look at it. Maybe they'll understand a little bit better than I do. Or, hey, maybe there's opportunity to make it a little bit better. I don't know. But that happened. Outside of that, though, it worked great. Never had a problem with it. Same with the magazines. I didn't have a problem with these jamming. No failures to eject. No failures to feed. It worked great. So, I mean, I was out there banging away with it. Trigger was great. Didn't have any hangups with that either. Man, this thing just ran. So, that was pretty nice. Magazine plate. These are a little bit irritating to get off, to be honest. It's definitely not a Glock or a SIG. I find those to be significantly easier, but replaced it, and it doesn't add any function, but it kind of looks cool, right? It goes with that theme. So if you do have a theme you want, there you go. Throw it together, man. Then I got this Siley Cat Pro on top here. Checking this out. And honestly, this has been a solid optic. Real easy to shoot, real clear glass, easy to see the dot, and that dot is bright too. even outdoors in the middle of the day. So I'm hoping to get a review for you guys on this to give you my ideas on it and my thoughts. But Hellcat upgrades were nice, and if you are looking to upgrade your Hellcat, something that's not going to break the bank, honestly, these Tyrant CNC upgrades are solid. I haven't had any issues outside of just that magazine. So if you guys are looking for them, check them out. Springfield Hellcat. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you.